A big hello and a warm welcome to all of you amazing and beautiful people out there to my channel. In this channeling session, I would be talking about the divine masculine who is tired of running and he wants to stop running away from the divine feminine. And this type of a shift is happening in him because he has, tested waters. He has, gone into different directions, different places. He did whatever he felt could be the best thing for him to be able to avoid and escape from the DF, but everything literally seemed to have failed for him. He tried his level best, like how you say, you do everything, every damn thing that's possible on earth. Whatever he could do, he did that. And now he is extremely frustrated and extremely troubled because none of that has worked for him. And now he realizes that the problem was not in the DF, the problem was not in anything, but the problem was within him. He was scared, or he could not handle the situation, he could not take a solid decision, he was not confident about himself, and due to all those things, or due to all those reasons, he ran away and he took some drastic steps in terms of commitment or in terms of changing location, because the divine masculine was also looking for some kind of a relief back then. So let's get started and let's understand this energy better. There is a phrase called avoidant attachment. Avoidant attachment is something which the chaser suffers from, and in this channeling, we would be talking about the runner's mindset, what happened and what is happening with him in this channeling, because he has reached to a point, which is a very important point as well, where he has started being very sure that my relationship issue with the divine feminine, whatever I was facing, be it even financial instability, be it health problems, because during the twin flame journey, a lot of divine masculines talk about having health issues, or the feminines also have certain issues. They have pains in the body, they have aches, and it's not easy for them. Obviously, I always say the ball is always in the court of the chaser. Chaser is very powerful, and the chaser can turn around the situation, because why did they begin chasing in the first place, and why did they even come in contact with the DM, which initially he wasn't running. Everyone knows that the runners don't run, otherwise they never run. In the beginning, later on, they only run when this crisis and this testing situation becomes really difficult for him to handle. Though I don't want you all to, completely forget all the wrongs that has been bestowed upon you by the divine masculine. And most of the times, I also tell people to not focus on the masculine and focus on something you love and focus on the present moment. But when people actually start practicing it, because not many divine feminines practice it, they listen to it, they know it. Only when you practice it, then you will be so aware that you will start seeing all types of thoughts that come to you. There are bad thoughts, good thoughts, there are thoughts of kindness, there are thoughts of inhumanity, and I'm talking about divine masculine. There are thoughts where you remember the good things he did for you, how romantic he was, how loving he was, how caring he was. And then there are days where you only think about all the bad things he has done to you. So why this divine masculine is now stopping to run, or he doesn't want to run, is because the divine feminine became so aware that she knew what type of thoughts are coming to her mind, and every time a thought of negative energy, negativity, anything came, she was really smart to either ignore it or replace it with something positive, something that can uplift her immediately. So when she does that, the energy of divine feminine changes in a big way. In this case also, there are definitely some techniques that help people to get into this zone. That's why we talk about coaching, and that's why we talk about therapy. That's why we talk about finding your happiness. And guys, when I speak about all of these things, this also means that some of you could actually be genuinely needing therapy, or you could have stored a lot of pent up energy, a lot of traumatic energy. It's not easy for people to actually let it go. That's when therapy happens. And I am doing the public channeling for everyone, but it is the personal readings and it is the personal sessions where we can actually go into deep, and we can go into depth, and we can deep and depth, same thing. We can, find the root cause of your agony, of your misery, of your pain, of your suffering. Because I understand, it's not so easy to suddenly stop thinking about the divine masculine, suddenly drop him. This is also a gradual process. But in this channeling, the divine feminine is basically worked a lot on herself, and slowly and gradually, or whatever speed, but it was a steady speed and it was a consistent speed in which she kept focusing on her work, what she loves, on the present moment, and the divine masculine was left alone to live his life the way he wants to live. Because she also tried everything, just the way divine masculine is now trying everything to run away from her. She also tried everything to convince him to chase him. Both are doing wrong, but it is the chaser's, discernment, and it is the chaser's conviction that can bring a lot of changes in both of their lives. So this feeling of anxious, avoidant attachment creates a fear-based energy. And as we have been listening to and reading about law of attraction, you guys would know that law of attraction means that whatever you think, you attract that. Your thoughts create your life. So if in your thoughts, so in this particular case, the divine feminine is doing mastery over her thoughts. She used to be the person who was always questioning about the divine masculine, like the focus of her life was on the divine masculine, like what is he thinking about me? Is he regretting his decision? Why is he so cold? Why is he doing hot and cold behavior towards me? Or other things also, like constantly in your mind doing a chatter with the divine masculine, sometimes fighting, sometimes not. So the whole focus of the divine masculine was on the other things away from the feminine because of this. Because the more the feminine focuses on the DM, the more he runs away. Now the reason of this, to actually make you understand, we are not doing types of predictions where you get more attached, or we don't do channelings where you are more into them. Rather, we give you a solution so that those thoughts that are constantly distracting you from living your life fully and not letting you come to the present moment, because if you're thinking about someone or somebody constantly, then that means you're not in the present moment. Your awareness of the present moment is very low, or it is less, which is why there is this anxiousness, which is why there is this panic, which is why there is this fear that he's gonna run away, he's never gonna come back, the relationship will not work out. But every time the runner has gone away, and every time the divine feminine lets it go, that is when he comes back. And then when he comes back, it's again the same thing starts happening, because again all her focus goes back to him. This divine masculine has finally started thinking that the DF deserves respect and unconditional love, because he is now going through his own experiences of how the karmic is teaching him, treating him, also teaching him in a way, because he could not differentiate between true love and false love. He was very confident that I will escape, I will run away, which was a very cowardly thing to do in some cases, because in some of the cases the commitment was very deep, as in the twin flames. They were not just on the phone, or they were not just talking to each other like that. They were in an intimate relationship. For some of them, it was a long-term relationship. And this particular channeling is being referred to that type of a dynamic where the masculine and the feminine have spent a lot of time together, and he made certain promises to her that I will do this, I will do that. So the value of your words, the value of your promise should be very high. If you, first of all, you should not make any commitments, but if you do make a commitment, then you should stick by it. You should stand by your words. And he, in his weak state, he doesn't like to stand by his word. On the contrary, he might even say, yeah, well, I said that because at that time things were going good, but I cannot do it anymore. So it's as if he used to think that she is a doormat. She's always going to be available for me. Or he would always think that, he was so confident that, she will always contact me, always come back to me. She always returns my messages and calls. Even if I, just say hi and how are you after 2 months of not talking, she's always so eager to talk to me. So I must be really nice. I must be really, attractive or very handsome, or I could be having some qualities that only some very special people on the planet have. That's why a girl like her, who's so beautiful, so smart, so talented, she is running after me, So he thinks like that, and the divine masculine actually takes a lot of her energy, a good energy, the loving energy, and he does a very wrong thing. He does a very wrong thing. He never gives to her. In this case, he has never given to her, or that is probably one of his things, that if I will give my love or if I will fully be with someone, then that person will not love me back the way I want them to love. So he always restricts and always controls his emotions and his feelings. He pretends that he doesn't have, that heartache or that pain, or he's not miserable, he's absolutely fine. And in some ways, because he has been blaming the divine feminine for such a long time, for everything. Even if he would have a cold, if he would have a running nose, he would blame her for it. So that became too much for the divine feminine to handle. She could not take it anymore. And she also chose peace of mind over the divine masculine, because this runner-chaser dynamic had taken a toll on her life. And it also felt like, as if he is only waiting for my energy. He needs my energy to survive. It does sound like a energy vampire type of a thing, or someone who gaslights people. Of course, there is narcissism as well that the DM has, thinking that I'm always right. So all of that needs to be healed. Every single thing, all those qualities. So over a period of time, after being in separation, and after also being sort of pushed away from the DF, like the DF was not interested in his games anymore. So when he contacted her, she clearly told him to FO. She said that don't call me, or, her response was very brutal, like how he never imagined it to be. He never expected that the girl who was crazy about me, who was always available like a slave, always there, she doesn't want to be with me now. She is the one who is telling me that till the time I don't have a proof, or till the time I don't see you, going out of your way to make sure that I am able to trust you again, I'm not getting into this. Because she has seen a lot of, she's seen his dark side. She's seen probably him going to other women. She has seen him chit-chatting with other people. He's seen him, going for parties, and, every time there is a fight, he would do something really inhuman to her, and he didn't change his behavior. He only changed when she used to go away. So the divine feminine has also realized that he always comes back, because this runner-chaser dynamic has become very predictable for this divine feminine. She knows that I will do certain things and he will come back. So when he came back, after a long separation, say after not talking for a couple of months, he came back again. He started messaging her again, talking to her again, contacting her again. And, over the phone, sometimes she also spoke to him. But she realized that every time she talked with him, the energy would drain out really fast, or she would feel some kind of hollowness, she would feel some kind of shallowness, and at the same time she was not able to respect him as a man. In many cases, it has also been observed that the divine masculine, when he comes back to her, he has not fully changed. He just comes back because he thinks he's very privileged. And even if he's in a relationship, he could even be married, he could even be dating someone else, he still contacts her again and again, like in between, like he will just send hi, what's up, or, something like that. So this makes the divine feminine, question that I never want this type of a man who is sitting on two boats. He's not ready to leave that other girl also. And he is not only now cheating on her, how he used to cheat on me, now he's also doing the same thing with, her and me at the same time. Of course, she has the upper hand this time, because earlier when the divine feminine was trying to get in touch with him and he was having a good time with the karmic, or even if there was not a karmic lady, but there was some karmic addiction, maybe drugs or maybe alcohol or maybe partying or maybe anything, where he was committed to her but he was not fully committed, he would always take the easy route. It's like they fight and she's sitting in a room and crying and weeping and he's out there celebrating. So this happens few times in this dynamic, and after that she says, enough is enough, I am done. You can go to whatever place you want to, you can go to Vegas and have a good time, you can go to any, in India we have also so many places, you can go anywhere, but now you cannot come back. You were coming and going as per your wish and will. The door was always open, but I am going to close the door on your face, because I either want, someone like me, because, she has been doing so much inner work, and because they were both wise also, so they would talk about these things. They knew about twin flames, or they knew about the ascension, or they knew about living a healthy holistic life, or being a positive person. But despite knowing everything, he would still act in the opposite way. So the divine feminine even says that, look, in this journey we both have to do our work. At the time when I am doing my work, you are not taking any responsibility for what you should be doing, like your role in this relationship. And he says, okay, it's fine, we will do it, we will handle it. So this type of dynamic, I know a lot of you are going to be resonating with this, but there is hope now because of the work that the DF did. She did not accept him when he came back, and he came back without completely healing himself, without letting go of all the attachments, because he maybe wanted to get into a physical relationship with her, because the karmics don't satisfy them. This is what happens with the divine masculine, that on a sexual level, the karmics are not what he was imagining them to be. He thought that it would be like even better than the DF, because he has been with the DF. So he thinks he has developed that superiority complex, that I am a really good guy, I am a really amazing person, I am this, I am that. Why? Because the divine feminine had put him on that pedestal, like you are my God, you are everything, that, like that. So he started thinking like that, he started behaving like that. And when he attracted a karmic, he thought that, wow, I am so good, I have attracted this amazing woman. But the karmics are good from the outside, like the polishing work and everything is done very well, but inside they are actually going to mirror the DM now, because the DF has crossed that level. Now she is not into, for some time she's in a hermit mode or solitude, or maybe she is also dating someone else, so that can also happen. And this is also his fear now. The divine masculine is in a fear mode, because when he got into a commitment, he didn't think much of it. He was like, yeah, so what? I want to be happy. I don't want to get into that, dreadfulness again and this and that. So he was, at that time, he didn't think about the divine feminine. But when the divine feminine realized this and saw this, that he didn't give a damn about me, he didn't give any, nothing, nothing to me. So then why should I not live my life? Now is the time that I'm totally going to live my life. How I always used to do, every time we were in runner chaser dynamic, he would run away. Every time I would work on myself, my energy would be so nice, he would want to take a piece of it. He or all the people connected with it. So I'm not going to give any pieces from myself to anyone anymore, even if it is my divine masculine, so-called divine masculine, because right now he is not in the zone of being called a divine masculine. He doesn't deserve to be called a divine masculine. This is what the feminine thought. And it's not like she's just venting out, on some page or something. No, she is actually talking to herself. She did a self-talk. She worked on herself. She did not publicly, share all the grievances on anything, or neither this time she went to him. Like earlier, she would get angry, mad, upset, and they would talk to each other. He would call her and, things like that. But this time, and this time as in there has been a gap in this. Like after 6 months of not talking, he messaged again. He said that I miss you, I love you, which is very easy for him to say. And then again, she would find out that when she would call him up, or when she would seek his time and energy or whatever, the presence, he would not be there. So it was only one way, she was just giving. The problem was that there is nothing wrong in giving in love. We always say in true love, you always give and forget. But she wasn't receiving anything from any higher source or even from the masculine. So when you're not receiving anything, but you're only giving, then you will not be left with anything. That is exactly how she felt, in her previous conversations with the divine masculine, that, he drains her energy. She doesn't feel nice. She doesn't feel happy. She doesn't feel uplifted. She is in a bad situation while he is enjoying his life with someone else or something else. And this is not justified. This is totally not justified. So she closes the door on his face, and now, after the door got closed, at that time also he was hurt, and he was like, okay, this time I don't think she's gonna come back to me. Maybe she was saying the correct things. He started thinking like that. And this is only happening because she put conditions this time. Like when he came back to her, she asked him, are you dating someone? What is your life like? How much do you earn? Are you stable? How are things with your family? And she made the assessment that he hasn't changed much. He's still the same privileged person that he used to be. Overprivileged, oversensitive, over of everything, too much ego. And he has some kind of a courage, or some kind of he thinks that he has some kind of a superpower, that every time he will come to me, smile, talk to me, I will go running into his arms. But that is not something she did. So basically she gave him only unconditional love, and she kept giving it to him while he was just throwing, some bites, like how you throw food to pigeons or to animals sometimes on the street, if you are at a certain distance. So it may sound very rude or very sad or very painful, but he was throwing those love scraps towards her. Here, one scrap, two scrap, while she was just going on giving. And he thought that she is not a giver. The karmic is the giver. I am the giver and the karmic is the giver. And he also thought, didn't think, by the way, that this is the relationship that I had waited for the rest of my life with the DF. When the love came to him, what did he do? He threw it away, He threw it away, and the energy that he gave out to the universe was not positive energy, was completely escapist energy, And in law of attraction also, you always reap what you sow. So what did he give, to her? What did he sow? Loneliness, abandonment, all sorts of arrogance, all sorts of overprivileged behavior, thinking that I'm the best on this planet, I'm God's gift to humanity. But he's not done anything that proves that, his behavior is completely opposite of what he thinks of it. And it's also the divine feminine, because she thought that he is my masculine. So she assumed that he is going to take a stand for me. He will do whatever it takes to fix our relationship, or to be here to not give up on us. But he did not do that. He gave up on them. And now he is like completely stunned because of the turn of events that happened in his life, or it is happening right now. He never expected the karmic to be so vicious. He never knew that, she is going to really give him a mental torture on a regular basis, and there is no love. He's just an object, or he's just a tag. He's just for social appearances. And whatever the karmic also was looking in him, she did not find him to be doing those things. She also realizes now that, it was a big mistake to be with this man because he's useless. But she's ruthless. Karmics are ruthless. That's why they break the home of the feminine also. They always know. They always knew. All most karmics know. There are very few who don't know, and then they also step out. I have noticed this also, that if the karmic is, if it's a good contract, like she's supposed to be also in some other relationship, she could be a twin flame also, and during separation she just bumped into someone and she found out that this person already was dating someone before meeting me, or when we got together, so she walks out of it. But the karmic, in the case of divine masculine, doesn't do that. She simply stays even more, and she's like, okay, this is a good catch, such a nice, good looking or attractive or talented or whatever, all those positive qualities, especially spiritually sound, lady was in love with him, then definitely he's very nice, and I should get that love now. Why should she get it? I should get it, because he is also giving me attention. He is also, doing those things. It is mutual in some way. So why don't I grab him? But after she grabs him, after she gets him, it's not easy to get commitment from masculine also, because when he separates, he still thinks about the DF. So half the time he's thinking about the DF, and half the time he's sitting there, helpless and overprivileged. So she feels that this man will fulfill me, and he cannot. He just cannot. That is just not there in his nature. The only person he can do something for is the feminine. And I'm talking specifically about people who have spent time with their divine masculines in a relationship format where they have, hung out together, they have, maybe lived in together, or they've done something very, intimate that sort of makes them look like a very solid couple, like almost like husband and wife, not almost, literally like husband and wife. So in that type of an intense situation, if the divine masculine runs away on account of whatever XYZ excuse, the divine feminine is like, I am not going to take it anymore. That's it. Either you come back to me, you come to me with my conditions. So maybe she has put some conditions to him. That's why again he ran away, because the karmic was not putting any conditions. On the contrary, the karmic was luring him, seducing him, giving him stuff, So he was like, wow, this is much better. Because with the DF, I have to do XYZ. She tells me to work, on something. She tells me to work on myself. She tells me to do inner work, or she tells me to, live a certain kind of a lifestyle which I don't want to live, and this and that. Though when they got connected, they had same talks. So the thing is that he is now realizing his mistakes. He is understanding that I had true love and I gave it up for nothing, because now he thinks that the karmic was actually nothing, is nothing, because she's not that person he imagined her to be. He was simply looking for a replacement for the divine feminine, or he was even looking at a better package than divine feminine if he can get. So all the conditions, he was like, I cannot do all this. I cannot improve on myself. Why should I improve on myself? There's nothing wrong in me. He basically feels like a beggar who is sitting on a beach of gold. That type of a feeling he is getting. And he is now beginning to think that I was wrong. I was so wrong. Oh my God, what did I do? And now there is no chance, because as of now in this channeling, he feels very trapped. He's very trapped. He's like, he's stuck now. Stuck in a very bad situation. Maybe he is stalking the divine feminine and he now sees she's so happy. She didn't even, do all the stupid things that I did. I will recontinue this channeling in the part 2, and I will see you soon in that. One love and peace out.